We're having a good time on the Sports Porch tonight. Yes, it is the Sports Porch Black and Gold. Here we are live, if you're watching live all over the world on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and the Gram joins us again tonight. Welcome to Instagram, all of our fans there. And, of course, as you can see in the ticker, if you're watching live, I am going to drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And one more thing, you can always listen to us live. You can just stream us live on Radio PGH. I always put the link to the radio stream down in the comments right there, right now. Save it, listen in anytime. To my right in the studio is the Grand Schwabini. Across from me is Hockey Jesus, and I am your technical director. Welcome back to the Porch, guys. You were absent last week, right? Was it you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was you.
I planned my time off around the bye week.
That's right. That's right.
That's
a good move.
I was away last weekend.
Yes.
Did I tell you where I went?
Hershey.
Yeah, I went to Hershey Park.
Yeah.
Heard you surprised your wife.
So, yeah, I had this great weekend planned. You guys are going to love this. I surprised her. My wife plans everything in our family. All our trips, she does it all. And when she plans it, she gets it down to the minute. So I'm like,
of course,
I'm going to plan this trip. So I planned this trip. We were going to go to a concert on Friday night. So we had to get there a little early. When we got there and arrived, she was going to have a spa treatment. So she goes to her spa treatment. I'm hanging out on the porch, just checking. I was like, I better make sure I got these tickets for this concert. I pull them up. There they are. And I look at the date. I had the wrong date.
No way. Are you serious?
I did. The concert is actually this coming Friday.
So are we going back?
Are you going back?
No, I'm not going back. I sold them. No. Yeah.
Was it Sarah McLachlan?
Close. You guys are going to love the band that I was going to see, Air Supply.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
I'm all out of love.
I'm so lost without you.
Is that a Susan favorite?
No, that was mine.
That's you.
She got the spa. I got the concert. So there was no Air Supply concert, but everything else was all in love.
How disappointed was she knowing that she wasn't going to be able to see Air Supply?
She was very much not disappointed. No, I mean she appreciates a good Air Supply. She even said, like, is it really Air Supply? I was like, yeah, it's the two people who are in Air Supply are still alive, and supposedly they're still pretty good in concert. But you know what the thing is, we couldn't even go see them because I thought, maybe they were just like down the road in Philly or something like that. We could just go find where they are, because I'm sure I could get tickets for it.
Right.
They were in the Philippines.
Well,
so that wasn't an option either.
So OC on the Instagram is already trying to get us into sports. Penguins having a dead night. One band I never got was the Grateful Dead. All their music sounds the same. It's a good thing the counselor's not.
Yeah, that's my feelings exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to shaking it up on Shakedown Street?
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there feel the same thing.
You don't feel a touch of gray? No.
No, all I can say is if I want to fit in with Deadheads, this is what I say. Terrapin Station, Ramble on Rose, the sky was so blue.
Very good.
You fit right in.
That's it. And then you could start like a half an hour conversation about those things.
Give me some grilled cheese.
My favorite Dead song was Sugar Magnolia, but other than that, I could really,
I like Friend of the Devil.
Care less.
Friend of the Devil's a good one.
Amy May says, now we know why Susan plans all the trips.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to try it again. I'm going to get it until I get it right, Amy. I'm going to try it again.
Yeah, but the Air Supply thing was all about you.
Yeah, I mean, I love Air Supply. I'm not afraid to say that out loud.
I'm all about me.
I don't know any songs beyond that one. I mean,
I'm not
sure
about
I'm sure
Susan.
Yeah,
I'd recognize them.
Yeah, you would know all the Air Supply
Would I?
songs.
I get her a spa.
You know, when you were like in 7th grade,
the
and you
greatest
wanted to
hits.
put your hands around
So
a
I
girl,
can
you know,
feel good.
you just put on some Air Supply. That was the idea.
I'm all about me.
Okay.
Air Supply was never a go-to for me.
I don't care about Susan. I got her the spa.
And I love her forever.
See,
And
yeah,
I still got the date so wrong.
I did get the date so wrong.
All right. Okay, listen, guys, what do we do in the sports porch? Well, of course, we talk all things black and gold. And yes, the Steelers were off. They were on a bye, or as Steve likes to say, an off week this week. Everybody knows that. So I kind of feel like, because last week's show we ended as at the start of the Monday night game.
Right.
I kind of feel like all of the analysis was done all week. I mean, listening to sports radio, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
Russell this, Najee that, this, that, everything else. But this is kind of our chance to digest the week,
Mm-hmm.
think about what we've seen, think about where they are, and then talk about next week where they're going. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Steelers, then we're going to do our NFL predictions, then we're going to do Stump the Yinzer. We don't have a Trader Joe's snack time tonight because my lovely wife, Lauren Klein, the Pittsburgh property diva, who I absolutely have to give props. There she is.
Where's
Thank
the picture?
you.
There she is.
Thank you, Pittsburgh property
A
diva.
little yin and yang.
PittsburghPropertyDiva.com. Yes, she provided us the pizza that you've seen me so rudely eating in the background. And we're going to do a little what we're watching. And let's just start off with the Steelers right now. So the Steelers beat the Giants. I predicted the Giants score right. I said they were going to win 21-18. I thought it was going to be a little closer.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like the Giants were going to score a lot of points. We all predicted a victory, which was good. So after a week of kind of letting Russell Wilson's second game sink in, why don't we do a little good, bad, and ugly for that? And we'll let you, since you were out last week, were you out last week?
I was. Counselor filled in for
Counselor
me.
filled in, right.
Yep.
Right. And he made your
I-
picks.
Yeah, that's right. Probably,
Yes, he
probably
did.
why I went 0-3, but that's okay.
Well, you didn't go 0-3, but you didn't do well.
That's okay.
So let's hear what you have to say. Let's do the good from the game for us.
Well, they won the game. That's the most important thing about playing a team like the Giants. You can only hope to win the game. To me, I thought the good was their red zone offense was much better. I know that they didn't score those touchdowns because they were called back, but I liked the play calling. I liked the way they were thinking about getting into the end zone. And for me, that was the good. The red zone offense was much more improved over the previous weeks.
Right. How about you, Schwaber? Good.
The good. I mean, I just think the good is that the offense continued to look sharp. I like that Russell Wilson is able to get players involved that had not been involved as much with Justin Fields, especially Van Jefferson and CA3. Well,
Right.
actually, I have to tell you, I mean, I used to joke about CA3. I think CA3 is actually emerging. And to be quite honest, obviously, they say the Steelers won a wide receiver. Apparently, they were close to Christian Kirk, and then he breaks his collarbone. So now they're thinking maybe an Adam Thielen or a Darius Slayton. To be honest, I don't know that they need one. Maybe with Russell Wilson, CA3 can emerge,
Right.
and Van Jefferson can be a serviceable third receiver, even though he plays the second receiver. But I don't know that they need one necessarily.
I think you just do it for depth reasons.
Yeah, for depth reasons, sure.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. I
So,
agree. But offense looking sharp, getting others involved, very good.
So a couple comments I want to get in real quick before we get to my good. The defense needs to stop the run. Anne Marie says.
Anne Marie's right about that.
Yeah, Tracy did shred them until he got hurt. John on YouTube, thanks for being here, buddy. It's 3 a.m. and the bar is closing. What wide receiver is left to take home?
He's not wrong.
Yeah, he's not wrong. So the good for me was pretty much the same. But I want to boil it down to one thing to make it simple, because this game is now ancient history.
Yeah.
The good for me was Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he had that fumble near the end of the game.
And it didn't hurt him.
And it ended up not hurting him. But you just look at the way he plays, and it's obvious. He's a professional quarterback.
Yep.
He knows how to command the field.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to play in the pocket. He knows how to play out of the pocket. And he knows, for the most part, he knows when to make decisions.
Right.
And when you have that person back there, a guy like CA3, who is a speedy but undersized receiver, Russell Wilson is going to find that window where he's open, where a Justin Fields, and I can't say right now that a Justin Fields hasn't learned that yet, or the game hasn't slowed down for him yet, because you would think after basically 3 years as a starter, the game would start to slow down for you.
Right.
So this isn't a Fields bashing session, because everybody knew I said stick with Fields because they were winning. And I admitted last week that I was wrong, but I did always want Russell to start if he was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So the good is that they have a quarterback now, and Tomlin doesn't have to sit around and try to make a decision, because he is horrible at quarterback decisions, because he never had to make one when he had Ben Roethlisberger. So that was the good for me. The good was basically Russell Wilson. HJ, the bad?
I guess you do have to go with their inability to stop the run. And I guess I'll put that mostly on Patrick Queen. He's not been the stud that we thought he was going to be. In fact, I'm not calling him a dud yet, but he definitely doesn't have the ability to jump up into the hole when he needs to make that stop right at the line. Right. I think his covering's been okay. It's not been great. So I'm going to go with the bad would be linebacker play from Patrick Queen, inability to stop the run.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the bad, I can't really add much to that. So the only thing I'll say to make it a little bit different is just, I mean, the Giants are a pretty bad team. The win is really all that's important. Would have been nice to maybe have it more of a blowout. But other than that, I mean, I guess the negative for me, I'm saying, is they sort of kept the Giants in the game with some spotty run defense.
Yeah, that's the bad for me. The bad for me is run defense all the way. I worry about that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about worrying about that next week, especially. John says red zone scores with Wilson, bad. So, they need to score more touchdowns in the red zone. But that's something that I think is coming. I think that this is a different situation in that with Fields, you had to have a very, very elementary version of the offense. And then at times, like in the Indy game in the second half, you open it up because you got to come back. I think with Wilson, it was more like, let's get you out there. Let's get you in the rhythm of the game. You can call the plays. If you can check it down. You can check the play. Next game, now we're starting to get all the other receivers involved. I think the red zone is going to change coming up because you do have Freiermuth still. Washington is now being, utilized.
Yeah, they're starting to use him much.
Absolutely. So ugly, Steve. Anything ugly about the game?
Yeah, I mean, their inability to get into the end zone and actually put 6 points up on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
They got into the end zone plenty of times.
They did.
But they always got pulled off, whether it was a penalty, whether it was, two of the same foot doesn't equal 2 feet.
Yeah, that was weird.
By the way, 1 foot and 1 ankle on the same foot equals 2 feet. Just so we're clear on how the 1 foot thing works.
Right.
And I'm sure everybody has seen this over the past week where somebody did a spoof video of a guy catching the ball and jumping around the whole field with 1 foot. Literally all over the whole field, and then he would get pushed out at the end, and then it'd be like, no catch. So that's the absurdity of that rule. They really, I think, need to fix that. I think that's dumb.
Yeah.
But anyway, that would be the ugly for me. The ugly is definitely their inability to get the ball into the end zone and score 6 points.
Schwaber?
I guess I'll give the ugly game ball to Broderick Jones for that pretty horrific face mask, which nullified the
that was
touchdown.
one of them. Right?
I mean, like you barely see that like, an offensive lineman face masking somebody.
Yeah, I mean, he put his hand out and literally grabbed his face mask.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. He's got to rein it in here. Yeah, I would give that as ugly as far as a certain play. I would actually take my previous comment of bad and that rushing defense as the ugly. Because you're not expecting the Giants to light you up in the secondary.
Right.
So what are you doing letting this kid? Now, he's fast and he's shifty, and their line is average at best. So that worries me. And that's been kind of an Achilles heel of their line for the last couple of years, is that if that running, they're great at rushing the quarterback. So,
well, the problem is Leal's still out. He's still on IR. So they got Loudermilk as the defensive tackle behind Hayward. When Hayward's in, he's fine.
Yes, that's true.
And they have no backup for Keanu Benton.
Yeah.
He literally has to play every snap.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
They just don't have enough depth there. I wouldn't mind them actually going out. Well, I guess they're assuming that Leal's going to be healthy. That's why they're not making a play to go get a defensive lineman, because they actually need some more depth there.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that's really stopping their inability to stop the run. I think if everybody gets healthy, I think that shores itself up.
Yeah. M. Ann Marie on Facebook says, thank God for Boz.
And
yes.
the special teams. I mean, the special teams have been incredible the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean,
John says the team's attitude with Wilson is good. That's a nice surprise. And you know what? We didn't even talk about that. I think the good is overall this year is the special teams. If you're looking throughout the year from game one to game now, I mean, Danny Smith has got those guys playing motivated. They're aggressive. They're not afraid to get after the ball. And that run back by CA3 was a joy to see that happen. So,
well, they actually practice their special teams. Many teams don't.
Yeah, that's true. That puzzles me. Doesn't that puzzle you that a lot of teams? Well, I don't think they don't practice. They just give it a walkthrough and that's it. Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just puzzles me because games in the NFL are won and lost on mistakes, and when you're punting and covering a kick, I mean, it's every man for himself out there. You've got your lanes you're supposed to run in, but man, you can end up on the other side of the field and you had no idea how you got there.
Yeah, well, they knew that they could block that field goal a couple weeks ago, and they actually knew that was going to happen. They didn't realize they'd get called for leveraging penalty on it, but that's good. I think that's something that hopefully will allow them to continue to this winning streak.
Yeah, I think it will. Speaking of winning streaks, let's move to next week. Thoughts on facing Jayden Daniels and the Commanders. Of course, that is in Washington. Corliss Waitman might be back next year. He is kicking ass as well. He's talking about the punter. So
yeah.
All right. So you have a Washington team that is surprising this year, and for those people who were big Jayden Daniels fans,
I love
the Grant Schwabini said before the season he was going to surprise everybody.
I think I called him my rookie offensive player of the year.
You might have.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I had absolutely no opinion because I have no opinion on the Commanders still, and we won't go back there. But
I'm not asking you to have one.
I understand. But how do you feel about how they're going to play against this team? I mean, it's hard. They have a good offensive line. Terry McLaurin is an above average receiver, maybe close to one of the better receivers in the game.
Probably top 10.
Maybe top 10. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily put him 10, but if he's not 10, he's 11.
Right. Yeah.
And their defense is playing better than it should. They do have Dante Fowler Jr., Bobby Wagner, which is experience. He's older. But they don't really have a rushing game per se. It's running back by committee with Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson Jr. Now they're effective when they run, but the real problem is Jayden Daniels.
Yep.
So how do they contain him? How do you think they're gonna work against that?
I think he's going to be a problem. I don't think they're going to probably try to put in a scheme against him, but once they realize all they have to do is run Brian Robinson Jr., I don't think that the Commanders are really going to have to do anything but that. I think that JP Jr. can negate McLaurin pretty easily. I just don't know if the Commanders have a secondary receiving core that can then take over the game, or are they going to rely on Jayden Daniels' run? I think if they can't find a secondary receiver, whether it's a tight end or another receiver, I think the Steelers can easily win this game. But here's why I'm not really focused on this game. And that sounds dumb, I know, but 3 of the next 4 games are against divisional opponents. They play the Ravens at home, and then they play on the road at Cleveland and at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
This game means shit if we win those other 3 games.
True.
So this game doesn't really mean that much, honestly, because even if we lose and we beat the Ravens, then it doesn't really matter. We still maintain our lead in the division. It's hard to get up for a game like this when you know you have those other 3 games back to back like that. And I can see the Steelers getting let down because of it.
Trap game?
I don't think it's a trap. I don't think it's a trap game, but it doesn't mean that much. It's very few games in the NFL where a game doesn't mean anything, but this game doesn't really mean that much to the Steelers. It's the 3 after this that are their whole season.
Right.
I do get the logic there. But I also think, look, the Steelers have been listening all year to people talk about how the first half of the schedule is easy and then it gets harder, right? And nobody really thought that Washington was going to be a part of that harder, but they are.
It's true.
And, the fact that you're playing a team that has a 7-2 record, I think that they're going to come to play because they want to show the rest of the league that they can be a significant winning team. They could be professional about it. I don't think that they're looking past this game. I don't think it's a trap game. I think it's a game where you've got 2 weeks to prepare for it, and you want to show the league, and especially you want to show Jayden Daniels that what defense is all about in the NFL, because he's played with defenses so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm really actually very interested to see what happens in this game.
I think I'm more interested in to see how Jayden Daniels responds to the Steelers defense.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Because I think if he can, they'll beat us. But I think if he can't figure out their defensive schemes, if they're that difficult to figure out, then I think he could be in trouble,
John says this is the week to change up the D and blitz to see if the kid can handle real heat. I don't think they should change a whole lot because they bring pressure naturally. He also says that the games matter with playoff positioning. The Washington game could make the difference between a home game or games away play. Yeah, we get it. But I understand.
Not really, John, because if you win those 3 divisional games after this, you're going to win the division. And it won't matter if you lost to the Washington
if you win the division.
Commanders.
Yeah, it only gets to if there's a tie and then a common opponent or something like that. So
that's like the fourth tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Well, but it does matter beyond the first playoff game. I know we're just hoping to win one now.
The Steelers just want to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, true. But it does matter beyond that game.
But it might matter if you're talking about getting a bye during the first week and not getting a bye during the first week.
Right. So
that would be about it.
So I think the issue, and this is what if you're a Washington fan, if you're rooting for the Commanders, what you're looking for is when the Steelers bring the heat, because they're going to bring the heat. Highsmith and Watt can't help themselves. It's what they do.
They're not going to blitz to get there, but they're going to come from the edge and come and get you.
That's right. This is where the linebacking core comes into play, because this is where you're going to want to see Jayden Daniels use that gap between the linebackers and the secondary to throw over the middle of the field as a check down. Mm-hmm. If he's able to do that, and they can get yards in chunks, because that so far, believe it or not, the linebackers this year, in my opinion, have been the weakness on the Steelers defense.
Still, I agree with you.
Other than the last game where, and of course we talked about the line has some injuries, so the rushing on them. But I think if you're the Commanders, you're actually inviting that heat because you're playing it not up over the top. You're playing it over that first line of defenders. And and Terry McLaurin is very good at finding that zone and sitting down in that zone and getting yards after the catch.
Yeah, but they're not going to play a zone against McLaurin.
No, I don't think so.
JP Jr. is going to be there. And don't forget that Cam Sutton's coming back this week too.
Very true. Now, I'm not predicting that I think the Steelers are going to lose this game. I'm just saying that if they're going to get beat, they're going to get beat by rushing up the middle, and they're also going to get beat over the middle on those checkdowns or those short yardage passes, because I don't think the Redskins are going to, or the Commanders are going to be able to go deep on them.
Yeah, I think the Commanders are going to have to they're going to have to want to run the ball.
Yes.
And I don't know that I haven't watched very many of their games to know if they have they want to run the ball.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like that's something they want to do.
Well, it's more of they want to. It's not a run first offense,
right,
but it is a running back by committee. So if you look at the stats for their running backs, they're always close to 100 yards.
You
take Daniels and they're over 100 yards. So it's kind of similar to I was looking at some other team. I don't remember, but it doesn't matter.
Like
so
Seattle does that a lot with Charbonneau and KW3.
Yeah. And the Eagles did that a lot before they had Saquon Barkley now, who runs like 16 miles every game, the last couple games. So
and he should.
Absolutely. So I definitely think that this game is going to end up being a challenge because it is in Washington. Cam will need easing in because he hasn't seen game speed for a while. Yeah, of course.
No doubt about that, John.
I actually think this is a trap game. And I know you're talking about them getting up for the game, but I think what Steve is saying is very true. It's really hard not to look at the next three games and go, well, the Ravens just got beat by a crappy team. They just got beat by Cleveland. Oh, we can definitely beat them. And it's a division game. They always play them tough, and they usually
but then
split.
The Baltimore came out and just trounced Denver this week.
Yeah, of course. That was their rebound game. That was their rebound game. Yeah. And then you've got the Browns, and we all know the Browns. It's a hassle, though. I mean, they're a hassle.
Yeah.
Okay. They can lose that
in
game.
Cleveland on Thursday night. That's tough.
Yeah, and then at the Bengals, and you're right. Right now, at this part of the season, those were supposed to be and still are the three most important games. Mm-hmm. So,
well, the other thing too is the Commanders are playing the Eagles after this too. Yeah. So I'm not. They may be looking past this game a little bit also.
Yoho Son comes in with he's taking a dig at the Grand Schwab Beanie here. Beanie Bishop, third interception. So,
well, actually, it's interesting you say that because as stuff just comes to me. It turns out last week there was some interference. There's some interference, and I got the wrong information.
Did you? Okay.
So I want to apologize to my followers because that was a mistake. Information was incorrect.
At least you can own it.
Somebody was being a fake spirit.
Maybe Mark needs rabbit ears so he can dial it in a little bit better.
I love how he's blaming somebody and a fake spirit.
Yeah, it was a fake spirit.
Well, you know what? It was pretty close to Halloween, so there could have been some extra spirits in the room.
It was a fake spirit.
A little more activity going on. I understand.
Right.
So anybody want to predict? Anybody want to make a quick prediction?
I'm going to predict the Steelers win 17-10.
Okay.
It's a tough one. I'm going to say the Steelers win 23-20.
I hate doing this, boys.
Here it comes.
He's back.
The old trap.
He's back.
The old trapper's back in.
I think the Commanders are going to win. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think they're going to win 19-17.
19-17.
Now look.
How about 18-12 in a field goal battle?
No, I think it's going to be 3-2.
Do you think it's going to be
3-2?
Go ahead, Schwaber.
You thinking they're going to get to 17 and then get a safety?
Yes.
Nice.
So John says on YouTube the Bengals know they aren't out of it yet. My buddy Jeff,
they aren't out of it yet.
My buddy Jeff from York, who now lives in Hagerstown and is opening a great barbecue joint. So we might have to take a little road trip down there and eat some of his barbecue.
Hagerstown. Hagerstown.
Hagerstown. I think it's Hagerstown. If I got that wrong, Jeff, I'm sorry. We had a phone conversation and I was half awake. Good evening, everyone. Says Jeff. Mike Lawrence is back. Hey, Mike, what's up? Not to criticize Russ for his longer throws, but I wish the Steelers would throw more to the middle of the field. I think we all do, and I think it's coming.
Yeah, it's true, Mike.
Okay. Them Trader Joe bird nests got you. Oh, awesome.
By the way,
awesome.
I had Amy go out and buy 3. Had some bird nests for lunch today.
There you go. You got to get
brother.
that bird nest
Good
in
stuff.
Yep.
Good
Trader
stuff.
Joe's. And M. Marie says, did you have tinfoil in your hat for that?
I did. M. Anne Marie.
Okay,
tinfoil helps them.
You're watching the Sports Porch. If you're watching us live right now, you're watching the Sports Porch, Black and Gold, all over the world on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and the Gram. And of course, I'm going to drop the podcast right after the show so you can subscribe and listen on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And yes, if you want to listen to our new internet radio station, you can listen right here. The stream I'm putting in the comments, that's Radio PGH, and we are actually on there live right now. We're going to move on to our NFL predictions. We do this every week, and last week, Steve, who the counselor picked for,
the counselor,
was 1-2.
1-2.
The Grand Schwabini.
Who did he take? He took the Packers over Detroit. He took
the Texans.
I never would have picked that.
He took the Texans, the Vikings, and the Packers.
Who did the Texans play?
The Jets.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I would have taken that.
And Chris, the technical director, was 3-0, baby.
Woo!
I took the Jets, the Vikings, and the Lions.
Well played. Closing in.
I am making some headway.
If you go 2-1 this week, you get to 500.
There you go. That's right.
Let's go.
Meanwhile, I'm 10 games over 500.
You know what's great about that? What? Like, I'm 13-10, but I have one less fewer games than you.
Yeah. How is that?
Because I probably should be 14-10, but whatever. You make it up. Just make it up as you go.
13-11,
24. Yeah, no, you're 13-11. Buddy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now I'm 13-11.
Yeah, that's what.
Isn't it funny how that works like that?
Yeah.
You say you're 14-10. No, you're 13-11.
Yeah. No, you're 13 and you're 13.
There's some fuzzy math going over.
See how that magically happens right there? All of a sudden, you're 13-11.
Just like that, I'm 13-11.
Yeah, because you were 1-2. All right. Anyway.
I know 2 plus the 9 is 6. Carry to 4. Oh, damn it!
All right, what are we trying to do here? I can't remember. Oh yeah, we're doing our predictions. Okay, so our predictions every week we do the Thursday night game, the Sunday night game, and then a Sunday pick'em game. This week we are doing Thursday night, the Bengals at the Ravens. If you want to get in on the action, drop a comment on who your pick is. Thursday night, Bengals at the Ravens. I won last week, so it's me.
Oh,
I am going to go with the Bengals.
Well, that was easy. I'm going with the Ravens.
So Bengalis are ravenous. I will go with the Birds.
Mark is going with the Ravens.
Go with that dirt.
They're playing really well right now.
Okay. All right. No comments so far on that. That was the Thursday night game. The Sunday night game, this is interesting. The Lions at the Texans.
Oh, my God.
You go first.
I'm going with the Lions hands down. I think they're a team of destiny this year.
They're definitely not a team of destiny, although I think I do have them going to the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, that's partial destiny anyway.
But the problem with the Texans is they have no receivers now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Tank Dell's not back yet, right?
No, he's back.
Is Nico back?
Nico may be back next week.
So if I knew those two guys were playing, I'd definitely take Houston. Mm-hmm. But because they're not, I can't commit that they're going to be playing. I'm going to go with Detroit.
Yeah, I can't go against Detroit at this point.
Okay. Lions at Texans. We've got Jeff chiming in on the Ravens game, unfortunately, and he's saying the Lions. Next game up, our Sunday pick'em game.
This is a great one.
Yeah,
everybody's going to want to pick this one.
The Broncos at the Chiefs.
I still think we should have went with the 2-7 bowl.
Yeah.
You want to add another game?
No, I do not.
I mean, I'm
that's just another one for me to lose.
Yeah. Yoho-san says tie. He's
tie.
So predictable. That's what we love about
him. At the chef.
Okay, Broncos at the Chiefs. I'm saying this is a division game. The Chiefs Monday night game is getting ready to start right now. If they win this game, they'd be 8-0. If they lose it, they'd be 7-1. I think the Broncos are going to go in and beat the Chiefs. I'm taking the Broncos.
I like the Broncos, but the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, that's why you're in last place. Chiefs in a rout.
Okay, fine. All right.
Rookie quarterback against that defense.
Rounding out.
I don't think that do you think the Kansas City defense is really that good?
They are good, but
are they that good?
This is one of those games where I feel like that Andy Reid is going to mess it up. That's just my feeling.
I feel that about tonight's game against Tampa, actually.
He's got Patrick Mahomes, which is his no more mess ups.
Yeah, but Mahomes has made a lot of mess ups this year. He has more interceptions than he has touchdown passes.
Well, actually, that's why
that's crazy.
That's why I actually think the defense is really good, because Mahomes has actually been really bad this year. He's had a horrible year so far.
Yeah, for him. John on
They've
YouTube,
been pretty good at running the ball, though.
John on YouTube saying Stroud isn't as sharp this year, and Jeff Paulus, Chef Jeff, I'm calling him now, is taking the chefs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's face it, Kansas City also has the refs on their side too.
That is true. That is very true.
If he throws an interception and he's thrown too many, they'll just call it back.
Okay, we're going to stump the Yinzer now. What is that guy here? What is that guys here in the Sports Porch Black and Gold on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and the Gram, and the podcast being dropped right after the show. Stump the Yinzer. Well, we have a resident Yinzer sitting across from me in Hockey Jesus. He actually has pierogies in his DNA.
They flow right through here.
We have a non-Yinzer here in the Grand Schwabini. We pose a Pittsburgh-related trivia question to them. If the Yinzer gets it right, or if the Yinzer gets it wrong and the non-Yinzer gets it right, he becomes the honorary Yinzer for the week. I still haven't figured out what that means. We got to give that something extra.
No, it just means he's a Yinzer.
Yeah.
He can walk around all week eating pierogies and
he already does that. I mean, I'm just talking about, like, he's got to wear a hat.
No, now you're turning it into a gimmick.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
He's a Yinzer.
Week. Every week.
Stop it with the gimmicks already.
Every
this is the real show.
All right, let's get to Stump the Yinzer. In 1995, Bill Cowher was the youngest head coach to lead a team to the Super Bowl. How old was he?
Oh, my God. 1995?
Yes. The Neil O'Donnell year.
Let's see. When did he come into the league? It was like 91.
91 or 92. I don't remember.
31. So it was probably, it was either like he was 34 or 35 years old. I'm going to go with 35 years old. Mark?
Steve, you are incorrect.
Damn it.
Bill Cowher was 36 years young.
Ooh, we're going to push it to next week. He was 38.
38.
Out of the gun.
Oh, I was so close. But you would win in the Price is Right rules.
I was actually going to say 37.
I want a gimmick.
I was going to go 36, but I was thinking too young.
I want a gimmick, and you guys want the Price is Right rules. I mean, what's the difference?
Well, the Price is Right is a real game show.
Price is Right is a standard.
Yeah,
I know, but
gimmick is, wear a hat and look like a Yinzer.
Wear a hat, put on a beard.
You see what I got to put up with? All right, moving on.
Oh, man.
You can follow this gentleman right across from me, the Hockey Jesus, on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast after every single Penguins hockey game. He gets on and gives his analysis at his home studio in Greenfield, in the heart of the city of Pittsburgh. Hockey Jesus has a lot to say this year about the Penguins, who are not performing that well. So HJ, take it away. What the hell is going on?
It's predictable. It's called the decline of, an era. And
wait a minute. Did he say the decline of an era?
Decline.
I didn't hear the D part. I thought we were
D. When something was up here for so long, eventually it has to come back down.
Decrease. It's like you less and less.
But can you see, given our past history, how I would assume that you would associate my name with the decline?
Decline. I think there's definitely synonyms right there.
Yeah, there
decline,
I am.
Decline, and a decline.
I know some people who've been declined.
All right, get on.
I think we're two of them right now.
Please get on with it.
No, that's the problem. I mean, the Penguins have played at such a high level for so long. It was only a matter of time before things really started to fall apart. I kind of went over this in my latest one where they're not as bad as people think they are. Like when they lost to Minnesota and when, Fleury was in town, and I get all of the whole, Sid scores 1,600 points. Malkin gets his 500th goal. Fleury's in for the last time. I was actually listening to a podcast today with Elliot Friedman. By the way, he's a really bright hockey just phenom. He knows a lot about hockey. They were actually talking about the Minnesota Pittsburgh game just because they were like, how did that make you feel, like to see the other team's goalie get so much accolade, like during the game, before the game, and after the game? And I was like, wow, even guys, and these guys are, they're Canucks from way back, and they really like to follow hockey. They even saw it as kind of like, well, this is the end of an era. This is signaling the end of an era for Pittsburgh hockey, and for Pittsburgh to come out and do it really well. And they said, it was done really well, but to see it, it's just like weird because it's the opposing goalie. They're cutting the net out for him, and giving him the net. It's like, and I feel the same way. Like I'm kind of done with it. I'm kind of done with the nostalgia. But I get why they're doing it, because they're not very good on the ice. The only positive thing I can say in the last two games, and you have to take it with a grain of salt because it was against Anaheim and Montreal, two teams that are not going to make the playoffs. They did play defensively much more solidly. They won games 2-1 and 3-1. And they all last year, that was my thing. Like they can't win a game where it's like close and they don't score a lot of goals. They're seemingly able to do that right now. The next three games are huge. They play at the Islanders, at Carolina, and then at Washington. Washington's super red hot right now. They're 8-2. They lost last night because they played a playoff team. I think they played Carolina, and they haven't played a lot of really good teams. While they played the Flyers twice, and the Flyers are not good. Right. But the Pittsburgh played against Montreal twice, and they're not really that good. So my point is, Sidney Crosby playing with Gino has made a difference. That's good. Rust has been hurt. That's not good. They got the goalie problems with Jari. He's down in the minors right now. They said he's going to be back next week. In fact, the game that I'm going to next Monday, he's targeted to be starting at that game.
So this is the question from Mike Lawrence. HJ, what's up with the Pens goalie situation? Are they getting someone at the net during power plays? So you're addressing that right now.
Yeah. So the problem with the goalie situation, well, I mean, they got Ned, who they got last year as a backup. He's kind of their starter now. Blomqvist, who's been their phenom rookie, he's been good, but he hasn't won very many games and he's given up a lot of goals. But honestly, I think that next week what you'll see happen is they'll let it play out this week. They'll play Blomqvist and they'll play Ned on these three games. And then I think when they come back home, they'll bring Jari up and they'll send Blomqvist down. Because Blomqvist, although he's been great, he actually has the best save percentage on the team with .909 save percentage. And his goals against is only 3.46, which isn't too bad. Ned's is 2.75. And compare that against Jari, who's 5.47, but he's only played 2 games and he hasn't played
horrible numbers.
hasn't played in 2 weeks.
Right.
But since he's been down in Wilkes-Barre, he's 3-0 and his save percentage is something like 955 or something like that. And granted, it's against not good talent. But honestly, I kind of do have to back off from the Jari bashing I was doing earlier because the defense was just so bad. I mean, the defense is absolutely porous. And I think even Jari can get his mojo back if they can get the defense to play defense. They like to activate the defense, and the problem is when they do that, there's nobody back, and they give up 2-on-1 rushes the other way, and you're basically selling out the goalie.
So here's some props for you on the Instagram. Official Chris Chad. I cut and paste into our comments here because they don't show up in this package we have. He says, I've listened to all of the HJ podcasts. Good stuff. I'm only a casual hockey fan, so it helps me get my mind around what's happening. So he continues to spread the word.
Yeah, spread it out, share it out. I try and tweet it out too. So if you follow me at Burgerman, Burger with a GH, Burgerman, that's on Twitter. I tweet it out after every game also. Or if you're following the Sports Porch 1 on Twitter, it also makes it that there also at the Sports Porch 1.
Invite your friends to church.
There you go.
Yeah. And, I try and keep it pithy. I try and keep it less than 10 minutes. Sometimes I get a little excited about some things and I go off like I did on Carlson a couple weeks ago. And I'm not going to guarantee that I won't do that again.
All right. Well, we don't want any guarantees for that around here. So Hockey Jesus, you can follow Hockey Jesus, of course, on our YouTube channel at the Sports Porch Podcast. And of course, the Sports Porch, anywhere you get your podcasts all around the world after every single Penguins game. He tells you like it is. He tells you like it is. He set up his own studio in Greenfield.
Oh, and I got a new microphone now, so I sound even better.
Did you get the headphone issue sorted out?
I still can't hear myself when I speak. I got to figure that out
We'll get it sorted out.
I like the sign where you always have something on the sign.
Yeah. That's got. Yeah, I'm sure it'll get edgy as time goes by.
Yes.
I don't know how edgy it'll get.
Yeah, come on, man.
What do you want me to put up a phallic symbol or something? That you'd probably like that.
You're getting edgy already.
See,
there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Let's say if Ned gives up 7 goals, Ned is dead.
Yeah.
Or like a big. I could paint a big middle finger on there.
Yeah,
you would like that.
You could probably buy a middle finger you can place right in there.
Oh well, I'll look when I get home.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, moving on. What are we watching? Well, what is this? Grant Schwabini, you want to tell us what we are watching stands for?
What it stands for is your pain of not knowing what to watch, the confusion, the jumbled mind.
I know when you click on your Fire Stick and you see all those icons,
right? You don't.
It's like how do you know what you want to watch?
Where do you go? And then you start watching trailers, and then you watch 45 minutes of trailers. You don't watch anything. So there's so many to choose from. We make it easier for you.
That's right.
We tell you what's good. We tell you what's not good. So watch one of the shows that we give a thumbs up to. Don't watch a show that we give a thumbs down to.
There you go. That was excellently coordinated, guys. Yeah. It was a little weird, but it was excellently coordinated.
Well, we're of one mind around here.
Yeah, kind of. Maybe maybe it's just combined. We are almost one mind.
Yes.
I think that's really the case here. Okay. HJ is watching something that I think both of us had recommended actually at one point.
Good. So you can help me identify if I'm on the right track.
We at least talked about it, Schwaber, with him. So he is watching oldie but goodie here.
I'm watching Bloodline on Netflix.
That's an excellent show.
I loved it.
Excellent show.
Loved it.
So I just finished season 1 today, as a matter of fact, because, I took today off because, when you're away for the weekend, you want to take another extra day off. You can't just jump right back in the work.
We're not bad people, but we did a bad thing. I love that.
Yeah. I actually think they are bad people, by the way. But remember, I'm only at the end of season 1.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think John, there's John and there's Danny. Danny's like the black sheep, right? And then there's Kevin, who basically is drunk and doesn't really know what his life's about,
right?
And Meg, who seemingly is the smartest one of them all, but yet she has no idea what her life is about.
She's the slutty little sister.
She's not that slutty, I don't think.
Well, I would not. Yeah, I would not slut shame anyone.
Yeah,
no,
I'm not. She's a character. She's not a real person.
You slut shamed her.
So
she's a character. She's not a real person.
So here's first of all, I like it. I don't love it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it moves way too slow. I think that the characters are not likable. And I don't get the family dynamic. Like I get the fact that their dad and their mom had this bungalow in Key West and they turned it into an empire somehow. But I don't see how they turned it into an empire at all. It just seems like a shack where people came and stayed for vacations.
Yeah, well, I think that's what Key West is all about. A bunch of shacks for vacation. That speaks from experience.
I know, but everybody's like, oh, we speak so highly of the Rayburn family. And I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
Like I never saw anything that like was like, oh yeah, this guy gives away a lot of money. This guy, has a lot of cash. He brings in a lot of people. It just seems like it all seems kind of contrived at this point.
I feel like it is one that gets better season after season.
Yes.
Good. Because I'm going to stick with it, but I have to tell you, there was probably about midway through, I'm like, wow, there were 13 episodes in the first season.
Yeah.
And they're like an hour. They're like not short.
No.
Right.
And so there's a lot of time in there where you're just like, are you going to drag this out another episode? Like, just get to, I know something happens with the family. Just show it to me.
Yeah. Well, keep watching.
They finally do, by the way.
Yeah.
They do. They get to it, but it's just a little slow for me. I wish it was moving a little bit faster, but I am enjoying it.
Okay. So you're gonna stick it out for season 2.
And I think season 2's out now. Did season 3 just come out?
No, they've been out for a while, for a long.
Okay.
I think
and season 4 is the last one, right?
I don't remember.
I think so. I think they said season 4 is going to be the last one, and I don't think that's out yet.
Ooh. If there's another season coming, I'm totally psyched.
I don't think there is another.
No,
I don't think so.
I think it's just 3.
Just 3.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So,
okay. Well, I'm in for all 3 then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, HJ, report back to us when you're done season 2, or even if you want to wait till the very end. Gran Schwabini is watching something on Hulu.
Oh, tell me lies.
Was this a Rube show?
No.
Did Rube? No. Okay.
No.
Tell me lies on
Tell
Hulu.
me lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
This is a
Right.
Hulu,
That one?
This is a Hulu
That's it.
original. I've been watching with the lovely Amy May.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's
a family affair.
Touchdown Chiefs, by the way. Sorry.
It's 2 seasons, and there's likely a 3rd to come.
Oh, not a touchdown.
It's very, very good. I don't know.
He's out.
Yeah. Sorry, Schwaber. We're watching the Monday night game behind you.
I don't know if it's for you guys.
Oh, okay. And why not?
Why?
Why not? Because I have a feeling it is one that is going to be probably much more enjoyed by the female.
Okay. So I'll watch it with Susan.
Right. Yeah, you can watch with Susan. Now, I will tell you, a lot of sex.
Oh,
well, I'm in.
A lot of sex.
Well, why wouldn't we like it then? You should have started with there's a lot of sex.
I knew he was going to say that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they didn't look like they were very old.
Is this was it a setup here?
So
yeah, this
is it good sex?
I'll let me at least tell people what.
Well, I just want to know good sex, yes or no?
So it's
right hand for good sex, left hand for not good sex. Come on. All right, Schwaber, go ahead. He's trying to decide.
I decline.
Oh, I got it. You got declined.
You just got declined.
All right.
So, it kind of starts off that we're like, present day, basically, we're at a wedding.
Right.
And then everything kind of like pretty much comes back to the period of time when these 2 people at the wedding and all the friends that are at the wedding are all in college together.
Well,
and
they're in all the sex. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Was there wedding sex?
There's always wedding sex
at one point.
Okay, good.
So basically something during let's say the bulk of the characters in their freshman year of college, something tragic happens.
Okay.
And there's a lot of different people that play some crazy.
Even Amy says that.
There's a lot of different people that there's a lot of different people that play some sort of role in the tragedy. And because
so it didn't happen to one person, or there were a lot of people that were involved in the one person's tragedy.
Correct. A lot of people were involved in the one person's tragedy, and because of that, there were a lot of lies that were told about what people were doing at said time of tragedy.
One season so far?
2 seasons.
2 seasons.
2 seasons.
And then over?
2 seasons. No, looks like there's going to be a third.
Okay, serious question now. Aside from the sex, which I think was the most serious question.
Yeah. Crazy amount of sex, according to Amy.
Is there? I'm definitely watching it. We're going to start watching it tonight.
What I will tell you is this. Here
we go back to the sex.
Believe it or not, because this is look, this is a relationships program, right?
Right.
But I will tell you what, like, how like when you see like a thriller and you're like on the edge of your seat, this is like the same but different in that you are so tense through a lot of the episodes. You're just like, oh my God, like what's gonna happen?
Oh yeah, Susan can't watch that.
And like it's just
well, but
it's kind of like let me put it to you this way, like in season 2, Amy and I just like we're trying not to do spoilers, but like we both saw like people said, "Oh my God, Tell Me Lies season 2, the finale is going to blow your mind."
Oh right,
and our mind was blown.
Okay. Yeah. Oh okay. All right.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
All right. That's good. I like that.
It's like intense.
That to me, that signals good sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But the real question I had was, is it reminiscent of Big Little Lies on Apple TV Plus when Nicole Kidman and that group? There was an event that happened and they all told a lot of lies around it, and it was
just different though, because it's about a bunch of college kids.
Yeah, and there was not a lot of sex in that.
Yeah.
More importantly, do they play the Fleetwood Mac song?
Yeah,
there could be a Fleetwood Mac song in there.
Yeah, no, the "Tell Me Lies" song. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. You know it.
Yeah, I will say that.
You're singing it in your head right now.
I am. I will
if I could have a moment
tomorrow. Yeah.
I will tell you this though. The music is really, really good.
Okay.
And I've multiple times I've gone on, and looked up like Tell Me Lies soundtrack, and I've bought a couple songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's really good.
It's a revenue generator.
It's really good music. Oh yeah. It's like, I mean, they haven't officially said season 3 yet, but like it's been in like the Hulu like top like 3 for like, I don't know, like 17 weeks or something.
Okay. So
it's really good.
So Tell Me Lies on Hulu. Schwaber recommends it.
I just realized I don't have Hulu.
Yeah, neither do I. But
I'll find it.
But the thing about it is I like how he started off with, you guys probably aren't going to like it, to then like this rousing, like, great show. You should watch it.
It was. I mean, it was the kind of thing where it's like you had to watch one every night. And then and you always wanted to watch the next one, but you were also kind of like, I don't know if I can take another.
Oh, I never say that.
Let's go half an hour comedy just to sort of like bring
yourself down.
The night.
Do you ever feel that way when you watch them? When I get shows like that, I want to watch them back to back to back to back.
Yeah, most of the time. I mean, I
also have the feeling though sometimes it's like I don't want to like waste the show. Like I want it to last a little
sure.
bit.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah. Blowing through 2 or 3 episodes in a day, sometimes you feel like you're doing that.
Right.
Okay. Last, what we're watching for the evening is something I highly recommend.
Here it comes. Documentary time.
It's been a little while, but you guys, let me just tell you, you guys.
Somebody got murdered.
Here we go. Get ready for it. I just want to tell everybody right now. I want to tell everybody I take responsibility for what is about to happen. Oh, I completely accept it. And I look forward to it. The Manhattan alien abduction. I can't even fucking say it right.
I will tell you
Manhattan alien abduction.
There is something that I do like about this very much.
Right.
And that is what my thing about aliens that's always kind of been my go-to is, how come it never happens to anybody in New York City?
Yep.
There you go.
Why is it always the fat slob
in the middle of a field?
In the middle of Nevada.
Hey, right? don't alien abductee shame. Okay, let's not do that.
It's just a character.
No, these are real people.
This really happened in New York City.
So this is a brand new documentary on Netflix. Apparently, in 1989, a woman was abducted from her Manhattan apartment. It was a rent-controlled area. She was literally levitated out of the apartment into the sky and into a ship.
Somebody capture this on camera,
and there were 20 listen here. There were 23 independent witnesses who did not know each other that came forward and said they saw it.
They were like, why is she floating up in the sky like that?
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They saw it. What happened is there was a power grid failure that night. You can look it up. That night in Manhattan, there was a power grid failure. All the power went out. And there was a police officer on the bridge. You're talking about police officers that saw it or part of these witnesses, like people that are actually credible.
Did she come back?
And oh yeah, well then she actually became famous, and there was this world famous, well, I wouldn't say world famous, but famous in the craft, alien abductee researcher who grabbed her, and they were starting to go back, and he was famous for doing regressions with people and all this kind of stuff. And it dragged on for years. Now this researcher had married a woman who
were they the tall aliens or the skinny aliens?
They were the both the gray creatures,
the grays,
with the big eyes.
The grays with the big eyes,
not green,
not green. No,
not Martians. No, it's always either the grays or the others.
Off, is this a movie like hour and a half, or is this like a 3 episode?
It was a quick 3 episodes. Okay. Oh, wait a minute, I can't remember.
Oh, he was abducted.
I must have been on the. I must have been on the ship while I was watching this. I was on the ship.
I have to admit, I saw it.
Oh, did you see it?
No.
You saw the
you
abduction.
saw the alien abduction.
You get abducted.
Yep.
Oh, you saw that.
Klein. You were driving up the driveway and you saw Klein levitating above the house. You're like, there goes Klein again, getting abducted.
So end result here. Do you believe it happened?
Well, the point that I was trying to make about the researcher was that he married a woman who was a producer, and she did short films, and she started following him around because they were married now, and she would document all this stuff. And she was a total skeptic, but she was like, he's my husband, I want to document all this. So she started, videotaping this woman and all this kind of stuff. And as time went by, she started, this is a really good documentary for this kind of stuff, because you've got both sides presented in a very reasonable manner. Okay. So she basically has come out and said, like, this is a hoax, and here are the reasons why, because this is what I witnessed. Okay. And you're left kind of looking at it and saying, okay, it looks like it was a hoax, but if it is a hoax,
how did so many people see it?
How did so many independent people that they could not confirm had any connection with this woman at all? And there are certain things like, how could this have happened? And it would have had to have been one of the most elaborately planned, complicated hoaxes ever. But the proof that she has that it is a hoax is kind of like, yeah, but it looks like it is a hoax. So it's pretty cool. It's good. If you're into at all,
sounds interesting.
Yeah, if you're into it all, this kind of stuff, it's it might have been a 90-minute, because I watched another documentary that'll come up in later shows that was 3 episodes. But so I can't remember which is which, but it's good.
Okay,
it's really good.
Check it out.
There you go. Oh my God! Did I actually hear him say that?
We have to finish the show on that.
I feel like I got to throw you a bone sometime.
Yeah. And there you have it.
Every once in a while, a bone finds a documentary.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. Still waiting. There it is. Finally. Finally.
I didn't think you were ever going to find that button.
I did. It's hard to find the button sometimes, guys.
That's not good.
Yes, it's not. Okay. All right.
Don't watch Tell Me Lies then.
Yeah, good sex. Good sex, aliens. What do we talk about on the show? The Steelers, the Penguins, good sex, aliens, and a murderous family. Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching the Sports Black and Gold all over the world. Live if you are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, and YouTube. And, of course, I'm going to drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. For the Grant Schwabini on my right, for Hockey Jesus across from me, I am your technical director. We'll see you next week. I am out.
Jablonsk.
Jablonsk.